On the open savanna, the lion, a predator known for dominance, does not always keep the upper hand. It moves forward with the confidence of long-held power, yet nature never signs a permanent contract. A sudden, forceful counterstrike erupts, breaking momentum in a split second. Tactics, terrain, and one brief hesitation converge at once, turning strength into a weakness. When the ruler is pushed back, who truly holds power in this cycle of balance? In the grassland ecosystem, the spotted hyena is not simply a scavenger, but a true crushing powerhouse. At around 190 pounds, it carries jaws that can deliver up to 1,100 pounds per square inch of bite force, strong enough to break through the toughest bones of large prey. Yet its most formidable advantage is not the individual, but the collective. A clan of up to 80 members operating under a strict matriarchal social structure, using a complex system of calls to coordinate and press an encounter. The relationship between lions and hyenas is not only competition for food, but an enduring clash between two empires. In a one-on-one confrontation, a lion typically holds the advantage through a 420-pound build and lightning-fast reflexes. One well-timed strike can instantly shut down a reckless challenge if a hyena tries to test that authority alone. But the balance shifts completely when a lioness or a cub becomes separated from the group. Hyenas use speed and movement to surround, repeatedly targeting vulnerable openings to drain the opponent's stamina. When their numbers reach an overwhelming ratio, fear fades, replaced by pure intensity. They rise into a strange chorus of laughing calls, surrounding and driving the ruler back to take the hard-earned prize of a hunt. In that moment, a lion's authority can collapse under the force of a night-born alliance. This reversal shows that power does not always belong to the strongest individual, but to those that know how to use group strength to turn the outcome. On the savanna, the rhinoceros is not a tough target, but a hard limit. A full-grown adult can weigh around 5,500 pounds, with skin nearly 2 inches thick like natural armor. At the front sits a keratin horn close to 3 feet long, a constant warning to anything that approaches that this is not a place to gamble. The lion still draws near on hunting instinct, circling, cutting angles, waiting for a lapse. But the rhino rarely offers an opening. One horn drive is enough to turn any close approach into a high-risk calculation, and when the lion shifts to search for a different angle, the rhino only needs a well-timed pivot, keeping the horn locked forward. With short burst speed that can reach about 35 miles per hour, it quickly restores a safe gap and forces the opponent to reassess. That is why many encounters end quickly. The rhinoceros does not need to chase to prove anything. It only needs to hold its ground. And the grassland adjusts itself around a fortress that knows how to keep a boundary. In ecology, power sometimes is not about pursuit, but about the ability to make others stop on their own. In the southern Serengeti, where the grasslands stretch for miles, African wild dogs move like disciplined arrows. Each individual weighs only about 60 pounds, yet can sustain speeds close to 44 miles per hour over long distances, turning endurance into a weapon and turning every pursuit into a prolonged test for any opponent. When a male lion appears, the pack understands its limits and avoids direct confrontation. They wait for openings, a lone lioness, or a moment when cubs are no longer fully shielded. From there, the wild dogs launch multi-directional pressure, rotating quick advances and withdrawals, gradually wearing down the lion's muscle advantage through relentless pace. Brief snapping strikes force the lion to pull back to keep cubs safe, because a single delayed response can unravel the entire situation. African wild dogs often show a very high hunting success rate, close to 80%. But confidence also brings risk. If a chase goes too far, the entire pack can push deep into a male lion's territory. At that point, a well-timed counteraction is enough to disrupt formation, and one frontline individual can vanish from view in an instant. These moments of misalignment help shape the future of both species. In many populations, more than half of lion cubs do not survive their first year, and only a little over 20% reach adulthood, depending on food availability and the level of territorial instability. The hippopotamus is the hot-tempered gatekeeper of Africa's murky waterways. Its body weighs several thousand pounds, shoulders rising like a living block of stone. When its mouth opens nearly 150 degrees, tusks longer than 1.5 feet appear like warning signs, signaling that this territory follows its own rules. At times, lions move along the water's edge, searching for opportunity. But shallow water is not familiar ground for large cats. One sudden surge sends the surface into motion, forcing the lions to scatter and clear the path ahead. The hippo's jaw pressure can reach around 1,800 pounds per square inch, turning any close approach into a gamble with an extreme cost. Even on land, the hippopotamus is far from slow. It can accelerate to about 20 miles per hour over short distances, enough to push lions into retreat. There is no prolonged pursuit, only a boundary redrawn quickly and decisively. And sometimes, A single lapse in spacing is enough to change the outcome. A lioness that ventures too close may trigger an instant response, forcing her to abandon the attempt amid sudden confusion. This encounter is a reminder that authority shifts with terrain. On open ground, the lion stands as a symbol of dominance. At the water's edge, the hippopotamus is the one guarding the threshold. The lion understands that withdrawal, in this setting, is the most calculated path to survival. In the heart of the Serengeti, the giraffe stands as the tallest animal on the planet. A male can reach about 18 feet in height and weigh close to 3,000 pounds. Behind the elegant silhouette lies a formidable defense system. Legs longer than 6 feet, with tendons and muscles drawn tight like steel cables. A well-placed kick carries the force of a heavy impact, enough to make any predator reassess its approach. Lions understand that a fully grown adult is rarely an easy option. They move in quietly, cut angles, and pressure the giraffe toward tall grass to limit visibility, sometimes risking a leap onto the flank to gain leverage. But the giraffe rarely panics. It pivots on a diagonal, maintains distance, then sweeps its legs in wide arcs like an invisible barrier. One accurate strike is enough to force a close approach to retreat, and the pride must spread out to avoid the next swing. For a mother giraffe protecting a calf, every movement becomes even more decisive. She constantly positions herself as a shield, using powerful kicks to maintain a clear exclusion zone, turning the encounter into a test of distance. In most outcomes, lions choose to withdraw because the cost of a single misjudged moment is too high. Along Africa's migration corridors, elephants move like a rolling fortress, weighing up to about 13,000 pounds and standing over 10 feet tall. But what makes lions cautious is not size alone. Elephant herds also communicate through infrasound that can travel for miles, functioning like an invisible warning network across the grasslands. When lions try to close in, the usual goal is to separate a calf from the formation. Adult elephants respond immediately by building a defensive circle, facing outward, and moving the young into the center. A trunk with more than 40,000 muscle bundles becomes a tool for controlling space, pulling, pushing, and creating distance. Tusks that can reach about 8 feet mark a hard boundary that stops any close approach. If pressure escalates, elephants can surge forward at nearly 25 miles per hour, throwing up dust and sending a ground-level rumble that feels like thunder. When tons of weight move in a single direction, lions typically back away because one mistimed moment at close range can erase every route out. This encounter is a reminder that the greatest power in an ecosystem is sometimes not found in pursuit, but in unity, memory, and the ability to protect the next generation. There is no prelude, only a moment of close approach and a cold, decisive strike. Wildcats do not rely on size, but on speed and instinct. Each species delivers its move in its own way, so fast that the target has no time to react. Mistakes exist only for an instant, that narrow line between survival and disappearance. And when the claws close in, nature's quiet unease begins. The puma is also known as the cougar, or mountain lion. It is a solitary predator that controls vast territories, stretching from the frozen forests of Canada to the rugged mountain ranges of the western United States. An adult male can weigh up to 220 pounds and measure nearly 8 feet in length. Its strength does not come from sheer size, but from exceptionally powerful hind legs, enabling leaps of up to 40 feet and short bursts of speed, approaching 50 miles per hour during pursuit. Steep slopes, dense forests, and rocky cliffs are not obstacles, but advantages for carefully calculated ambushes. The puma's primary prey consists of widely distributed grazing animals, such as white-tailed deer, mule deer, and guanaco. In the Rocky Mountains, as night falls, its keen vision allows it to observe far more effectively than humans. From elevated positions, the puma waits patiently, moves with the wind, and approaches in silence, skills passed on from an early stage of life. A successful strike can bring down a target weighing twice its own body weight, providing enough energy to last nearly 10 days. Even an apex predator, however, remains bound by environmental limits. When prey density in mountainous regions drops below 10 animals per square mile, the puma's reproductive rhythm slows immediately, like a biological clock shifting into conservation mode. Under pressure from shrinking migration corridors, competition with its own kind, and powerful rivals such as grizzly bears and wolves, it faces a stark reality. Hunting success rates rise only slightly above 20%. Yet, within these harsh limits, the puma continues to hold a crucial role, a quiet architect regulating the balance of ecosystems across the Americas. Across the northern forests and the wilderness of Alaska, the Canada lynx appears as a gray silhouette dissolving into the white snow. Weighing around 24 pounds, with pointed ears and a dense coat, it is shaped by winters that can drop to -40 degrees Fahrenheit, where adaptation determines who is allowed to endure. Its greatest advantage lies in its wide paws, nearly 4 inches across, functioning like natural snowshoes. This design allows the lynx to move lightly over soft snow without sinking, a critical edge when tracking snowshoe hares, the primary food source that sustains the species. Within dense conifer forests, speed is not required. Instead, absolute patience defines the approach. The lynx can remain motionless for hours in silence, waiting for the precise moment to launch a leap exceeding 10 feet, ending the hunt before the target becomes aware of danger. The breeding cycle begins in late winter, and 1 to 4 kittens are born as summer arrives, when food resources become more abundant. Nature, however, is never static. When prey numbers decline in natural cycles, the lynx is forced to expand its range, sometimes reaching up to 150 square miles. As a key predator, it helps preserve the fragile balance of the taiga ecosystem, particularly by regulating populations of hares and small rodents. Across semi-desert regions and dry grasslands stretching from Africa through the Middle East to Central Asia, the caracal appears as a biological solution to the challenge of speed and precision. With an average weight of around 40 pounds, its compact, muscular frame is optimized for short bursts of movement in open terrain, where every opportunity exists only for a brief instant. Its short coat, colored reddish-brown or sandy gold, allows the caracal to blend seamlessly into arid landscapes. The most distinctive feature is its tall ears, crowned with black tufts nearly 2 inches long, not for display, but to enhance sound detection. Each ear rotates independently, enabling the caracal to pinpoint the direction and distance of even the smallest movement within moments. The caracal's diet includes hares, ground-dwelling birds, guinea fowl, and occasionally young antelope. Unlike many other cats, it is especially skilled at catching birds. When the timing is right, the body springs upward, reaching heights close to 10 feet, enough to intercept wings just lifting from the ground. Most active at dusk and early morning, the caracal takes advantage of cooler hours to reduce energy loss. During brief approaches, it can accelerate to nearly 50 miles per hour to close the distance. However, with a hunting success rate of around 50%, every missed leap carries a clear cost. Despite the need to remain alert to jackals and opportunistic scavengers, the caracal endures through lightning-fast reflexes and near-perfect accuracy. A reminder that in nature, skill can stand in place of size. The black-footed cat, scientifically known as Felis nigrips, stands as proof that strength in nature is not defined by size. Weighing under 5 pounds and measuring about 20 inches in length, it is the smallest wildcat species in southern Africa. Yet behind its modest frame and sandy brown coat lies a hunting system that operates with rare efficiency. Its diet ranges from small rodents and ground-dwelling birds to large insects and reptiles. This variety is not an advantage, but a necessity for survival in an arid environment, where each successful night determines the chance of enduring the following day. As night falls, the body lowers close to the ground, moving so near the surface that it nearly dissolves into the landscape. It alternates between silent observation and active searching, constantly interpreting the faintest signals from its surroundings. Each close approach is brief and precise, concluding before the target becomes aware of any threat. With an exceptionally high metabolic rate, a single individual may consume food equal to nearly 1/6 of its body weight in one night. With a hunting success rate of around 60%, the black-footed cat surpasses many other wildcats, including larger relatives such as lions and leopards. Under cover of darkness, it may travel up to 20 miles to expand its opportunities, then quietly return to an underground den or rocky crevice as daylight emerges, fulfilling a small yet essential role in the fragile balance of its ecosystem. Beneath ancient forest canopies stretching from southern Texas through Central America to much of South America, the ocelot, scientifically known as Leopardus pardalis, exists as part of both light and shadow. Weighing only about 25 pounds and standing roughly 18 inches at the shoulder, this cat does not depend on size for advantage. Its intricate spotted coat breaks up the outline of the body, allowing the ocelot to nearly dissolve into the shifting patches of light and shade beneath the forest cover. Active mainly at night and during twilight, the ocelot possesses keen vision capable of detecting movement in very low light. With a medium-sized frame, each individual needs to consume around 2 pounds of food per day to maintain energy. Its diet ranges from rodents and lizards to forest birds and small mammals such as young coatis. Rather than relying on prolonged pursuit, the ocelot chooses silent approach, using leaf litter, exposed roots, and the layered structure of the rainforest to conceal every step. Each individual maintains a distinct territory, often spanning from several to more than 10 square miles, marked and patrolled regularly. Within the confined space of dense forest, flexibility becomes a vital advantage. The ocelot can climb high, slip low, or remain motionless for minutes at a time to avoid larger predators such as jaguars or large constricting snakes. Not a ruler by strength, the ocelot endures through its ability to read the environment and make precise decisions. Within the rainforest ecosystem, It serves as a subtle link, quietly regulating smaller prey populations and helping maintain balance beneath the canopy. The savanna never hands out a permanent crown. It only tests who can keep the rhythm and keep the right distance. Each time a counterpush comes, the lion does not lose its composure. It comes away with a new understanding of the terrain and the opponent's limits. To follow the next part of the journey, press like and subscribe. And the moment one story closes, the savanna opens another test. Quiet, but never forgiving.